It was a crisp autumn morning in Sedona, Arizona, one of those mornings where the air smells like pine and sandstone. I was sitting in the garden lounge of a small spa resort, wrapped in a white robe, sipping what I thought was just a fancy rose tea. That's when a young spa attendant, maybe in her 20s, walked by and paused. She tilted her head slightly, gave me a genuine smile, and said, "Your skin looks so glowy for your age." I laughed, maybe a little too quickly. Oh, it must be the creams. Old habit, right? Assuming it's all about the expensive serums sitting on my bathroom shelf. But later that afternoon, back in my room, I caught my reflection in the mirror, and it hit me. That glow wasn't just surface level. It wasn't from the cream. It was from 2 years of quietly sipping teas that had become part of my daily rhythm. Rewind a few years. At 56, I was in a rut. My vanity cabinet was stuffed with collagen powders, vitamin bottles, and half-used anti-aging creams. Yet every morning, the mirror seemed less kind. Thinner skin, sagging jawline, tired under eyes. Even my joints felt stiffer. The most frustrating part? I was doing everything the ads told me. Until I wasn't. It was during a health seminar at my local community center when everything changed. There was a speaker, a nutritionist in her early 70s, still radiant, strong, clear-eyed. I remember her voice vividly as she looked around the room and said, "You don't sip youth from powders. You build it from habits." Then she shared something I hadn't considered. Collagen loss after 50 isn't just about not having collagen. It's about not having the nutrients, the antioxidants, the anti-inflammatory balance to keep making it naturally. That's when she introduced me to 5 specific teas, each one chosen for its collagen-boosting, skin-protecting properties. Not supplements. Not capsules. Real, natural ingredients I could brew in my own kitchen. And today, I want to pass that forward. This isn't about quick fixes. It's about the long game, how these 5 teas helped me slow down collagen loss, keep my skin firmer, and honestly, feel more myself again after 50. Let me walk you through each one, and the small daily rituals that made a quiet but powerful difference in my life. I still remember the exact moment I had my first real matcha. It wasn't from some trendy cafe back home. It was during a trip to a quiet Japanese tea house in Kyoto. I was 57, feeling a little sluggish that morning, and a friend suggested we stop for matcha instead of coffee. At first sip, I wasn't sure. It wasn't sweet. It wasn't frothy like a latte. But there was this clean, almost grassy flavor, and within about 20 minutes, I felt something I hadn't in a while, awake, but calm. No jitters, no crash. And when I glanced in the mirror later that afternoon, my skin looked, I don't know, mute. Softer. Brighter. Of course, I didn't just chalk it up to magic. When I got home, I started reading up and found out why. Matcha is not your average green tea. It's pure powdered green tea leaves, and it contains up to 137 times more antioxidants than regular steeped green tea. The key compound in matcha is EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate, a polyphenol with powerful anti-inflammatory and collagen-protecting effects. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Clinical Biochemistry showed EGCG helps slow down collagen breakdown caused by oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is like rust for your skin, tiny invisible forces breaking down collagen every day. Matcha helps put up a shield. Now, it's a ritual for me. Each morning I whisk together 1 teaspoon of high-quality matcha powder with warm almond milk. No sugar. I sip it slowly while planning my day. That small, peaceful habit sets the tone not just for energy but for how my skin feels and looks. If you're just starting, don't be surprised if matcha feels green at first. But give it a week. Let it become part of your rhythm. For me, it's now as natural as brushing my teeth. And it's one of the simplest, most enjoyable ways I protect my collagen every single morning. It happened one late summer afternoon. I was at the community pool, just doing my usual slow laps, when I noticed a woman lounging by the deck. She had to be in her 70s, but her skin, I mean it, looked tighter and more radiant than women half her age. No heavy makeup, No obvious cosmetic work. It wasn't that overdone glow. It was natural. When she caught me staring, I admit it, I smiled and asked, "What's your secret?" She just laughed softly and lifted her glass thermos. "It's rosehip tea, honey. Been sipping it for years." At first, I thought she was joking. Tea. Not collagen powder, not some magic cream. But when I got home, I looked it up. And there it was. Rosehip tea is one of the richest natural sources of vitamin C and vitamin A, retinol in its natural form. Vitamin C, as you probably know, is essential for collagen production. Without it, your body simply can't form new collagen fibers. But rosehip goes a step further. That natural vitamin A helps support skin cell turnover, improving elasticity and firmness over time. One study from the Journal of Clinical Interventions in Aging found that regular rosehip extract consumption improved skin moisture, elasticity, and wrinkle depth in women aged 40 to 65 after just 8 weeks. Now, rosehip tea is one of my personal staples. I brew it most afternoons. 1 teaspoon of dried rosehips, often combined with a pinch of hibiscus petals for extra antioxidants. Steeped in hot water for 5 to 10 minutes. It's tart, almost like a natural fruit punch, but no sugar needed. And every time I sip it, I think back to that radiant woman by the pool, and quietly thank her for sharing her secret. I can still picture that season of my life. Late nights staring at spreadsheets, early mornings rushing out with barely a sip of coffee. At 52, I thought I was just dealing with normal work stress. But the real wake-up call came one evening when I caught my reflection in the elevator mirror. My skin looked saggy, dull, my under-eyes puffy. But worse, I felt constantly wired yet exhausted. That's when I finally visited a local Eastern medicine clinic. The practitioner, a calm woman in her 60s with glowing skin I couldn't help but notice, didn't hand me pills. Instead, she said one word, ashwagandha. I'd heard of it vaguely before, something herbal, something Ayurvedic. But she explained it simply. You're flooding your body with cortisol. High cortisol destroys collagen. Until you bring that down, no cream or powder will save your skin. Turns out, science backs this up. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which accelerates collagen breakdown through increased inflammation and oxidative damage. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Dermatological Science showed that lowering cortisol levels helps preserve skin elasticity and reduce visible aging markers. That night, I followed her advice. Half a teaspoon of ashwagandha powder, mixed into warm almond milk. Sipped slowly 30 to 60 minutes before bed. I won't lie, the taste was earthy, a little strange at first. But within a week, my sleep deepened. After a month, my skin started to regain some of its bounce. Now, even on calmer days, ashwagandha tea is part of my evening wind down. Because looking younger isn't just about what's on your face, it starts with calming what's under your skin. A few years back, during a trip through Vietnam and Japan, I kept noticing something that genuinely surprised me. Women well into their 60s and even 70s, with firm skin, clear eyes, and that quiet, steady kind of energy. One morning at a cafe in Kyoto, I asked a lady who must have been near 70 what her secret was. She smiled gently and lifted a small glass, goji berry tea, every morning. At first, I thought she meant as just a health tonic. But when I dug into it back home, the science was there. Goji berries aren't just some folk remedy. They're loaded with vitamin C, crucial for collagen synthesis, and beta-carotene, a natural skin protector. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Drugs and Dermatology confirmed that daily goji berry consumption helped increase skin hydration and reduced oxidative stress markers in older adults. That's not marketing fluff. That's real, clinical science. Now, every morning after my walk, I follow a simple ritual. 2 teaspoons of dried goji berries, steeped in hot water for 10 to 15 minutes. Sip the tea slowly, and once it cools, I eat the berries too. It tastes slightly sweet, earthy, calming. But more than that, within about 6 weeks of adding this habit, I noticed subtle changes. Brighter eyes, smoother skin, and a little more pep in my step. I've kept it going ever since. It's gentle, caffeine-free, and fits easily into any routine, especially for those of us past 50 looking for collagen support without synthetic powders or pills. Goji berry tea isn't flashy, but for me, it's become that quiet, steady friend every morning. I still remember the first time I tried making hibiscus tea at home. It wasn't at a fancy spa or a cafe. It was me, standing in my kitchen at 58, staring at a bag of dried hibiscus petals I'd ordered online after reading about its skin benefits. I wasn't sure what to expect. At that point, I'd already cycled through countless creams and powders with minimal results. But 2 weeks after making it part of my afternoon routine, I caught myself in the mirror and paused. My skin looked smoother, less dry, almost as if someone had turned up the brightness just a little. The science checks out. Hibiscus is rich in anthocyanins, potent antioxidants that protect collagen from breakdown. Even more interesting, hibiscus contains natural alpha-hydroxy acids, AHA. Most of us are used to using AHAs in exfoliating serums. Hibiscus gently exfoliates from within, helping skin renewal without irritation. A 2017 study in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that hibiscus extract increased skin elasticity and improved texture in women over 50 after consistent use. How I make it. 1 teaspoon of dried hibiscus petals. Steep in hot, not boiling, water for 5 to 7 minutes. Drink warm or cool, unsweetened. I drink it about 4 to 5 times a week, usually in the late afternoon. It's caffeine-free, slightly tangy, almost like a very light cranberry tea. Now, it's become part of my routine as naturally as brushing my teeth. If I skip a few days, I feel it, not just in my skin but in my energy. It's subtle, but real. And it all started with 1 small bag of petals and a bit of curiosity. How I combine them daily. When I first learned about all 5 teas, I felt overwhelmed. I asked myself, do I really have time to brew 5 different things every day? But over time, I figured out a rhythm that felt natural, not like a chore. Here's how my daily tea routine looks now. Morning. Matcha latte paired with a collagen-friendly breakfast like oats with hemp seeds. It wakes me up, protects collagen thanks to EGCG, and helps focus for the day. Mid-morning, around 10 to 11 a.m. Goji berry tea. I soak about 2 teaspoons of berries in hot water, sip slowly, and eat the berries afterward. It gives a steady vitamin C boost without feeling heavy. Lunchtime. Rosehip plus hibiscus blend. I brew 1 teaspoon of each. The vitamin C, anthocyanins, and natural AHAs work together. It's become a bright, slightly tart ritual I look forward to. Evening, before bed. Ashwagandha tea with warm almond milk. This helps my sleep tremendously. And by lowering cortisol, it protects collagen indirectly. Stress was my hidden aging trigger. Calming that down has been a game changer. At first, I made the mistake of drinking 2 or 3 types back to back. I felt bloated, and honestly, I couldn't taste or enjoy each one properly. But when I started spreading them out, I noticed better digestion and more stable energy throughout the day. Also, from what my nutritionist explained, the body doesn't use all nutrients at once. Spacing out teas helps with steady absorption, keeping collagen support consistent rather than overwhelming the system. It wasn't overnight. But after 2 to 3 months, I noticed less puffiness under my eyes, smoother skin, especially around my mouth, deeper, more restful sleep. And maybe this sounds small, but waking up and looking in the mirror felt lighter. It's become more than just about collagen. It's a mindful rhythm I genuinely enjoy. Looking back, I wish someone had told me sooner. Collagen powders and serums aren't the whole answer. For years, I bought tubs of supplements, chasing quick fixes. But my skin didn't glow. My sleep was still restless. My joints ached. I kept searching, until I met that older nutritionist I mentioned earlier. Her words stuck with me. You don't sip youth from powders. You build it from habits. That's been the biggest lesson. Real anti-aging isn't about expensive products. It's about small things you do every day. Hydration, natural antioxidants, stress control. What really changed my mindset was realizing I didn't have to do everything at once. When I first learned about collagen-boosting teas, I tried all 5 in a single day. It felt forced and unsustainable. My advice if you're just starting: pick 1 or 2 teas that suit your taste. Don't worry about doing it perfectly. Focus on consistency rather than intensity. For me, goji berry tea and hibiscus tea were the easiest to stick with early on. Once those felt like second nature, I added ashwagandha and matcha gradually. And here's the truth. Collagen health is not about dramatic overnight results. It's a quiet, long game, like tending a garden. It rewards patience, not rush. So, my beautiful friends, if there's one thing I want you to take from my story, it's this. Collagen is not a miracle that happens in a week. It's a companion, a steady partner in your everyday choices. You don't have to chase every new product. You don't have to give up your morning coffee forever. But adding just 1 cup of the right tea, made with intention, can quietly change the way you look and feel months down the line. Let me know in the comments below. Are you already drinking any of these teas? Or is there one you're curious to try first? And if this story resonated with you, tap like and subscribe gently. I'm not here to pressure anyone, just sharing what's worked for me, in hopes it helps you too. Every week, I post real wellness routines for women 50+, things that respect both your time and your body. No hype. Just honest, steady beauty from the inside out. Thank you for spending this time with me. Here's to glowing quietly and confidently, together.